Alright guys, I'm going to talk about how I magnetized this Reaver. So basically, I just blue tacked the armor guards on the legs and knees for right now. Up here on the joint between the torso and the legs, I put a 5x1 magnet, and all I did was I just glued it right on top of the little nub that's here. I didn't cut anything or sand anything, I just glued it right on top. It fits pretty much perfect. And then here at the bottom of the chassis, what I did was I drilled through, put a 5x1 magnet in there as well, and the depth is equal to, it kind of works out perfectly where this will snap in and give you a perfect fit, and you also have the ability to turn the chassis or the superstructure over the legs. And I say, this is going to work out nicely too for packing it up for transport or whatever. Okay, so enough about the legs and that part. For the superstructure, the way I did it, I think these are 2x1 magnets that I've had in the box for a long time, and then these guys are the 5x1s, the larger ones. So the way I did it was I put a little 2x1 magnet in the hole here for the neck, and then I put a corresponding 2x1 into the actual neck on the head. And all I do with that is I drill the hole. I start with a small pilot hole with a smaller drill bit, and then I work my way up to the actual size drill bit, and then all I do is I just get it to where I can basically countersink it perfectly to give a nice fit. So it gives you the ability to kind of pose the head a little bit as well, and give it a couple different angles, but not too much, but just enough. And again, it's nicer also for painting and stuff. Here, this guy is pretty easy since it's already preset from Games Workshop, so I just stick a 5x1 magnet in there and did the same thing for the missile launcher, so that sticks on there nicely. What I did here is in front of that, I did a 2x1 magnet that I countersunk, so that's flush. And then for the carapace here, I put a 2x1 magnet inside that I also countersunk, so that's flush as well. And the reason for that is so that when I paint this thing, it's going to be easier for me to be able to airbrush, because I'm going to airbrush the whole thing. I'll be able to airbrush underneath here and get everything figured out. And then also, what I'm going to be able to do is, if for whatever reason I ever want to switch this out, or I get tired of it, or I want to do something else, I'm going to be able to do all the different carapaces. And if they ever release new ones that are like chapter specific or Titan specific, whatever, I'll be able to put those on there too. Because honestly, I have so many models from Games Workshop. I've given these dudes thousands and thousands of dollars, and I end up never really finishing anything. So I'm just going to try and stick to this very tiny maniple for this game and see if I actually want to invest anything into it. All right, so anyways, so there's the carapace. That's the 5x1 for the missile launcher. And then here what I did was I did 2x1s on the top here, and I actually stacked these 3 or 4 deep depending on, and they run through all the way. So I drilled through I use this as the pilot hole, and I just drilled through completely, and then I stack these inside, so that what I can do now is the same thing what I did with the carapace. I did 5x1 magnets that I just mounted flush on the shoulder guards, and now I can put the shoulder guards on here, and then also I'll be able to switch those shoulder guards out however I want to, put the ones with the horse thing on there, or just do the ones that are with the Titanicus logo, whatever you feel like. So like that. And then for the weapons, I countersunk 5x1s on either one here, and then I took the little arms and I did a 5x1 on the bottom and a 2x1 on top, and then that way you can attach this and then stick this up in here. Same thing over here on this end, like that. So there you have the arms figured out, and again, you can pose these as a result of them being on magnets, which is kind of cool. But then if you want to switch them out, all you have to do is you take this and literally rotate it 180 degrees. Same thing here, just rotate this 180 degrees, and now you can switch up the sides for your weapon systems if for whatever reason that matters to you, you want to, right? And then so beyond that, what I did was for the power fist, I wanted to be able to do the same thing as far as being able to do a left hand or right hand power fist. First of all, I got rid of the hose connectors there, I guess. On my Forge World, they figured out how to do all the hoses internally, so I'm not going to mess with any of the hoses and stuff, because I could build hoses that would be posable either way and then put magnets in my stuff. It's just too much work for that little bit of detail, in my opinion. So what I did was I came up with, I did a 2x1 magnet on the wrist, if you will, and then I posed the open claw basically, so this can be either left-handed or right-handed. I didn't angle the thumb in either which direction, so it kind of works. And then 2x1 magnet inside, again countersunk, and then this guy just protrudes. So this sticks on there like that, and you can rotate it 180 degrees depending on. Now the only thing you have to mess with, and I glued the rest of the arm, the only thing you really have to mess with is the connecting piece here, this guy. All I did was I just drilled a hole into it right here, and then I left that nub in there, and it's a tight enough press fit where you can actually leave it as is. What I might do is I might blind pin it. We'll see here over time once I paint it up and how much exposure this thing actually gets to handling, and if it starts coming loose. But I did not magnetize these two pieces. I just blind pinned it, or at least prepped a hole for it. But it just kind of sticks on there tight enough where I don't think you're gonna have a problem. Here I did a 5x1 magnet, and I actually took about 3 or 4 millimeters off this piece here and actually kind of ground it flat. And that's just kind of, you just have to kind of test fit it a couple times to get it to sit the right way. So with that said, I'm going to build this thing up so you guys see what it looks like assembled. So here's the legs again. This stuff is blue tacked on there. And then chassis, I'm sorry, the superstructure, like that. Carapace armor goes on here again. And then these guys, click on. What's cool too is, if you guys are kind of old like I am, back in the day, back in the old White Dwarfs, you would see the Reavers from the original Adeptus Titanicus. You'd see these guys and they would angle the shoulder guards differently depending on how they pose the weapon. So I think that's kind of cool. So I might do that too. So again, here's the laser blaster on the right arm, and then we'll do the Gatling blaster on the left. We'll put the missile system on there, and on the head, and there he is, built up. Now, take this guy off, flip this around, so, and there's that, and then we can reconfigure it. Again, all I'm doing here is I'm swapping this 180, and I'm turning this 180. Got a right hand power fist, spin this 180 degrees, and now you got a left hand laser blaster, and there he is. And now also, because this right here, now I can kind of pose him up any way I want, which is kind of cool. So there's one way, there's one look, and then let's do that right there, turn him like that, and there you go. Pretty cool.